started.
Fresno Knight starts off with d3. Well, let's play d5. Maybe we'll get a Queen's Gambit reversed. d3 and c3. Okay, I'm just putting my pawns in the center. And he attacks it immediately. Let's see, if I want the option of defending this pawn. I don't know. I was debating whether I wanted to leave this c-pawn free. Okay, so he's going after the knight immediately. The pin made this pawn vulnerable, right? So I had to defend it. And now he's going after the d-pawn. Interesting play. So let's trade and develop a piece, attacking the e-pawn. Oh, it's defended by the queen, but I'll castle and unpin my knight. Should be okay. Let's kick the bishop first. Okay, let's I can do that some other time. How about if I put this bishop here first? Making an indirect threat on his queen. See how he deals with that. Goes back to c2. Okay, I didn't know if he was going to go after the b pawn here. Okay, so this e pawn is quite solid. I'm a little bit cramped here. Let's try and trade off some pieces. I'm going to play knight to h5. Knight h5 anyway. Takes, I'll take back with the queen. Retreats, I'll take with the knight. Or maybe I play knight f4. Knight f4, bishop takes, pawn takes. Then he can push this pawn forward. Just take the bishop. He is getting an open h-file here to attack me with, so he's going to castle queenside, but his the center is blocked. So I don't know if this is so great. Okay, I'm getting my bishop out of the way so the queen can come out to f3 if necessary to defend. And I'm also thinking of playing bishop to queen to f6, bishop to e6, challenging this light squared bishop here. It was also with the idea of discouraging him from castling, but I don't really have any pressure on this pawn, so that's maybe the wrong way to look at it. He's got it defended by his queen. Let's see, so he's bringing his pieces over to the king side to kind of challenge my setup on the king side. I'm going to play bishop to e6, as I said, and then rook to d8 here. Maybe the queen's rook. Queen rook over here to d8. Let's see, if he plays bishop b5, I can bring my knight via e7 here to, okay, so he just took. That's what I was expecting. Okay, okay, he defended his a-pawn. The queen was looking at the a-pawn from that square. Okay. Let's get rid of one pair of rooks here. Just don't want to make it too easy for him to double up on the a-file here. Oh, I could take his I could take his knight and give him a horrible pawn structure here. Why don't I do that?
Check.
Just for grins.
Check.
And play this position. So queen to g6 hits both pawns. His queen can invade. If I take here, though, it defends this pawn. So queen e6, queen d5, hitting my pawn because his knight and his queen are both on it. I take on g3, defending the pawn. He can chase my queen with the rook, gives up another pawn, and his king is kind of exposed, and his knight is hanging. I think this is probably okay. Hard to say, really. Okay, stopping to think here. Yeah, it's a complicated position. We both moved probably, yeah, we're already on move 20 and we've only used 2 minutes, so we're probably both moving too fast. Let's see, this c3 pawn is keeping my knight in check. If he ever pushes to c4, I have some interesting knight maneuvers in here maybe. But in the meantime, I don't want to really move the knight. It's defending the e-pawn, which is an important role. And it supports rook to d8 at some point. Actually, that's an idea. Queen d5, rook d8. And the queen can't take the pawn. It goes somewhere else where it's still attacking the pawn. Okay, I'll go ahead and grab here. Defend this pawn and threaten things over here. Yeah, actually I'm threatening to take on g2, which was kind of a fork between the rook and the knight. The rook could come to the g file. I have to be careful his queen doesn't coordinate on g7 here. So I have the better position here, but it's tricky. Tricky. Okay, so now maybe rook to d8. And queen there. I'm looking at all my pawns. This is still protected, that's protected. What I'm thinking is queen here. What does it threaten? I would like to get my knight to my rook to the 7th rank would be nice. But his knight is guarding that square. Yeah, he actually has no loose piece here. g5. Okay. Queen there just gives up. Queen here gives up the e-pawn, which is annoying. Okay, let's see what he does. I can't come up with a plan at the moment. You know, I was a little bit worried about that. Chasing my knight away from this good square. But there's some weaknesses here, so you can chase my knight away. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Pawn here, pawn takes, then the knight moves. And it can't go here, which is annoying. But he's weakening the squares around his king. So let's go here anyway. I'm looking now at the a-pawn. So I actually have a target over here, so maybe we'll trade. Oh, and my rook is defending the e-pawn at the moment. So I don't have to take. But where do I go? Knight to a5 looks interesting. Knight a5. And then if he takes, I take back. I don't take back because, okay, let's take first. Now knight a5. He pushes the pawn. Do I have something great here? Queen takes. He takes the knight. Knight here, he takes it. That's what it is. If he pushes the pawn, I take. Defending the knight for one move, which is important. And then I'll have time, hopefully, to take on a2 here. Well, he brought his queen back, hitting this pawn and defending some squares around his king. So this is my idea, was queen queen to a2, defending the knight this way. And then the knight can come in, and I can take advantage of these weakened squares around his king. Knight here, check. Looks pretty dangerous. I don't see a mate there, though, because his rook is protected, his king can escape, his knight is covering the e7 square. Maybe. Do I just trade queens here? Knight here, check first. Where does he go? He has to go to this square to defend the queen. But then no more checks. Queen takes, king takes, knight here, knight here. So I take first. Queen takes, king takes, knight here, check, king moves, and I grab the pawn. And I should be a pawn up, right?
Check.
Let's just go to this endgame. And then my king is a bit safer. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm a couple pawns up, so even if I lose a pawn over here on the queen side. He activates his king, that's good. Yeah, this is what I thought. I'm going to lose a pawn over here, but I picked up a pawn, so I should be in good shape, really. Aha. He saved that pawn. Let's see, can I take advantage of that? I could defend this pawn. Like this, huh? Defending from the side and holding on to the e-pawn. And knight to g5 looks good. Or maybe just bringing my king into the game. The knight's doesn't need to move right now. Yeah, he's going to bring his king into the game. Let's see, can I try and win another pawn here? While he wins this pawn, can I win one of these? Knight to g5 to f6, going after this pawn maybe. Okay, he wants to trade here. I'll take that. I'll take that trade. He can take these two pawns, and I'll take these two pawns. Because knight here, here, and he has knight here, here. Little chains of exchanges there. He took with the rook. Okay. That's all right, I thought. Thought it makes it simpler. Really. Okay.
Check.
He didn't take my pawn, so I can hold on to it for a move. Let's see. I'm planning to play pawn to f5 here to defend my knight. Is that foolish? Pawn to f5, pawn takes, and then he can come harass that pawn with his king. King here. Let's see, what's the best way to play this?
Check.
Maybe I just force him to take that pawn, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And get rid of this pawn. If he takes, I'll take with the knight to keep my pawns connected. If he pushes, I'll play knight somewhere. I'll manage to dissolve that. Oh yeah, knight here, check, wins the pawn. So I'll get that pawn one way or another. And then I have two connected and passed pawns, since they're the only pawns in the position. I just need to be a bit careful not to lose them as I move it up the board. I can even sacrifice one of them for a knight, right? But it's even better.
Check.
It's even better not to allow them to take the pawns. He can always take one of them. I just have to keep one pawn alive and make sure that he doesn't get some weird drawn position. He's going to play this all the way out. I can step my king up one more step here, and his knight can't attack me there. Okay, now I can't play check here, which I would like to play. So let's maneuver my knight to this square. Then check, knight takes, knight takes. A knight and a pawn are enough to win when it's in the middle of the board like this. You just have to worry about the famous rook pawn case. There's always special cases with the rook pawns. Knight and pawn, when it's a rook pawn, can sometimes be drawn by the weaker side. Sometimes score a draw. Okay, so if I go forward with the pawn, what's he going with the knight? What's he going to do? Is he trying to? My knight's guarding this g3 square, so my king can come forward to f4. I've got his knight trapped in the corner. That's nice. So eventually I will force him to move that knight, and then I'll just take it. The knight's defending that pawn. So right here, for example, he really needs to move the knight now. So I think I will score a win here. Okay. This is one of those tricky positions. I guess I come around on this side, huh? I can force him out the other side and then queen.
White resigns.
Okie doke. Well, I will upload this and do a post-mortem. See you guys later. Bye.